Oh boy, I've got to talk about this one. This is a little long in the tooth, this story, but I could not pass it up. I had to talk about it. Now, with all the cancel culture that is going on these days from the right against the left due to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there have been a lot of people that have lost their jobs due to some things that they have said either at their job or on social media. Even if it's just quoting Charlie Kirk, that is enough for some employers and some government agencies to go after these people, to fire them, to take away their livelihoods, and in some cases arrest them. But here we've got Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends, and he says some stuff that is pretty amazing. Now, before I get into this, let me preface this by saying that they are speaking on the young, I believe she is Ukrainian or a Russian girl who was killed by a homeless person. And as tragic as that is, it does not stop Fox News from trying to make a little hay out of it. Now, I can't remember this guy's name over here, the black gentleman. I cannot remember his name. But he is going off about this killing, and he's also going off about the homeless problem. Now, of course, Republicans will never talk to you about how to fix the homeless problem or how to fix the supposed crime problem, because every time a Republican sees a homeless person, they immediately equate that to crime, even though homeless, being without a home, doesn't mean that you're automatically a criminal. And by the way, I can't think of anything more detrimental to your emotional and mental stability than being homeless. You know how difficult something like that would be, to have to live on the street every day? And that's just you. What if you've got children? What if you're living out of your car? But this is what they have to say about the homeless population. And it goes from bad to worse, folks.
Passion, because you see the mental health crisis happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not our job. We shouldn't have to live in fear.
You should not be afraid of homeless people. You should have empathy for those homeless people. It should not be up to me to explain to you how empathy works. But obviously, you don't know.
While they figure out what's going on right there.
Right.
Put them in a mental institution, put them in a jail, and you guys figure it out. But
put them in a mental institution. Let's round them up and throw them in the jail. By the way, this is a little factoid for you. To put a homeless person in a very small little domicile where they can at least have shelter, a little roof over their head, maybe help them get started back on the path, get a job, and be able to eventually move out of that place, it would cost $10,000. You know how much it costs to either institutionalize or imprison one of these people? Anywhere between $30,000 to $60,000. Either one of those is going to come out of your tax dollars. Right now, we're spending those tax dollars on imprisoning people. And now this dumbass here wants to round up all the homeless and put them in prison or a mental institution. And yet, let me add this extra thing to it as well. If you are a homeless person in a particular area and they have a homeless shelter for you to go into, sometimes those places don't have enough room. And by the way, there are more homeless this year than there were last year. The economy is poor. People are losing their jobs. There are going to be more homeless people. And instead of trying to help them with a leg up, we are just going to, his idea is just, let's imprison them or put them in a mental institution. That's his brilliant fucking idea. There are so many rules and regulations. What if you're a single mother and you've got two kids? You got a daughter and a son. The daughter's 8 years old. The son is 13. You cannot take that 13-year-old son into your homeless shelter. He's got to go to the men's homeless shelter. So now you're telling this family, or this mother with the two kids, you can take your daughter into your homeless shelter, but the son has got to go somewhere else. If you're a mother, are you going to let your son of 13 years old go into a men's homeless shelter by himself? That is dangerous. So the mother would probably opt out of it. But this guy's like, if you're not going to accept what we give you, then maybe we should just lock you up. Maybe you're a bad mother would take your kids away and then put you in prison. This guy cannot think of his way out of a wet fucking paper bag, yet he's talking to millions of people on a couch in New York City that he disdains. All of these people that you see here, they talk shit about New York City all fucking day long, yet they live in this goddamn town. They live in the Upper East Side. They catch a limo to their studio at the bottom end of Central Park. They never even come close to a homeless person, but all they do is scream and yell about poverty and homeless people and crime. And you never even see it. Don't even talk to me about being on a goddamn subway. Your motherfucking asses have never been on a goddamn subway.
People having to duck and dive on the trains and the buses, walking through the street. This is one case, but this is...
Honey, I take the train every day. I'm not ducking and diving anything. Are there homeless people in New York? Yes, there's homeless people everywhere. It doesn't mean that I'm like, oh my God, a homeless person, let me get my mace out. Honey, they're more afraid of us than you should be of them. Ducking and diving. Fuck you, man.
Happening all across the country, and it's not a money issue. They have given billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population.
Which, by the way, Republicans are always trying to cut into because woke social services. But he's sitting there talking about, we give you billions of dollars. I just described to you one way that they give money for homeless shelters, but yet a lot of homeless people cannot access those due to certain circumstances like the one I just explained to you.
A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail.
That's his idea. Either you take the resources and the things that we provide for you, the homeless shelter that we provide for you. If that's not good enough, then you know what? We have to put you in a mental institution or lock you up. Sorry. Sucks to suck. That's his idea. But you think that's bad? Which I think that that's fucking horrible. Brian Kilmeade is like, hold my beer.
It has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill him.
Yeah, Brian.
Or involuntary lethal injection, just kill him. What in the actual fuck, Brian? Involuntary lethal injection. So let's just grab some homeless people off the street and without their permission, let's just inject them with some poison and kill them. I need you to hear that again because that is just a lot of things. Oh, by the way, I want you to watch this gentleman's face when, he's talking about, if you don't take the social services we provide, then we're just going to lock you up in jail. And you thought that that was callous. And then Kilmeade comes in over the top, with a fucking suplex of bullshit. And you watch this guy's face. He's like, he's getting ready to nod him off. Like, I always nod along to whatever Brian Kilmeade says. And then he says involuntary lethal injection. And he goes, ooh, he even cringes at that. Watch.
Be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill him.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get...
Involuntary lethal injection, just kill him. And of course, Ainsley fucking Airhead here in the middle, just completely glazed over that insanity. But Jesus Christ, man, look at the guy over here on the left. Look at his face. He's like, oh man, Jesus, I didn't know it was going to go that far. Hey man, you're helping to stoke this fire. Good God, man. Involuntary lethal injection, let's just kill him. Now, that was last week, the end of last week. It took him... look, asking for these people to apologize, it's almost pointless because it's not like he's going to get in any trouble for this. I'm surprised that he even did an apology because... the right wing never has to apologize for anything that they say, but this was a little bit even more over the top than any Republican had ever been at this point. Just throwing out there, poisoning homeless people. Fuck locking them up, man. Shit, that's just going to cost us too much goddamn money. Let's just put them down like dogs. Yet a reporter the other day said that Charlie Kirk said some stuff that might have incited the violence that came to kill him, and they fired this guy's ass. But Brian Kilmeade, he's going to be fine. All he needed to do was just a little apology. Here he is right here giving his weak ass shit. This is some weak ass apology right here.
In the morning, we were discussing the murder of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte, North Carolina, and how to stop these kinds of attacks by homeless, mentally ill assailants, including institutionalizing or jailing such people so they cannot attack again. Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that.
Involuntary lethal injections. Oh, you apologize for that? Okay. Thank you so much. I'm sure that everybody's really happy to hear that.
Extremely callous remark. I'm obviously aware that not all mentally ill homeless people act as the
Are you obviously aware? Because you did not seem very aware on that.
perpetrator did in North Carolina, and that so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion.
Let's go back a little bit. I just want to hear that again.
In the morning, we were discussing the murder of Irina Zaruska in Charlotte, North Carolina, and how to stop these kinds of attacks by homeless, mentally ill assailants, including institutionalizing or jailing such people so they cannot.
I mean, already that's enough. You know, we're just going to institutionalize or jail all homeless people. But I'm here to say that not all homeless people are bad. Why don't you just call in the Trump card, you know? I'm sure that some of them are good people, but most of them are rapers, murderers, and thieves, and they all need to be locked up or kicked out of the country. I'm sure some of them are good people.
Attack again. Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark. I'm obviously aware that not all mentally ill homeless people act as the perpetrator did in North Carolina.
Not all homeless people act that way. Some of them are good homeless. Maybe we shouldn't involuntarily, lethally inject them. My God, man. He gave his apology. Under the rug. Let's not cry over spilled homeless. Why isn't that guy gone? Why isn't that guy fucking fired? He's legacy media. He's been doing... Look, I talk to my Republican friends and family, and I have some Republican family members and Republican friends, and they don't call Fox News like we do. They just call it the news because that's the only thing that they listen to. They play that shit in the background at their house like it's white noise. This kind of stuff, these kind of ideas just permeate their brains unbeknownst to them because they leave it on in the background. And then next thing you know, they're parroting this shit out. You know, I mean, what's wrong with involuntarily lethally injecting homeless people? They're strains in our society. They're useless eaters. We got to we got to do something with them. Maybe lock them up, maybe put them in a mental institution, or, let's just kill them. Put them down like an animal. I mean, I'm sure some of them are good people. Maybe we should have a little bit more empathy for them, for a handful of them. But a lot of them have just got to go. That's Brian Kilmeade's fucking idea. And he took him 4 days to get to that goddamn apology. He should be off the fucking news, man. We should not have to ever hear that man's voice again. But they don't cancel their own on the right. They only go after the left. Screaming and yelling about cancel culture when some blue-haired college kid calls you out on social media as a racist, and you're like, you're trying to do a cancel culture. There's only one thing to a Republican, there's only one thing worse than being a racist, and that's being called a racist. There's only one thing worse than being an insensitive asshole. That's being called an insensitive asshole, because that leads to cancel culture. And now you're fucking with my pockets. But meanwhile, Republicans at this very moment are trying to fuck with everybody's pockets. The shit that I'm saying right now to you, the shit that I did on my segment on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that could be enough to get them to come after me. They would go out and try to find my employer and try to get my employer to fire me, which very well could happen. Who's doing the fucking cancel culture here? That guy should goddamn retire. He has no business being a news guy, saying stuff like that. For God's sakes, man. tighten up. I don't know what the hell's going on over at Fox News, but they seem to have just gently slipped into this warm bath of fascism, and they are loving the bubbles. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.